Hello and welcome to this little video that I've created called 7 Autumn Skincare Tips for a Hydrated and Healthy Skin. We are talking about fall skincare. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing a lot of information with you. Also, with that said, if you want, this is a great time to grab a pen and paper just so you can jot some things down. So let's hop right into it. Fall is here. Today is autumn equinox officially. I'm super excited. And this is a time where, depending on where you live, obviously the temperatures are dropping. There's less humidity in the air perhaps. And so our skincare routine has to change a little bit throughout the seasons so that we can still make sure that we're getting results. And each season brings its own pros and cons, right? So of course we're just coming out of summer. We've been blasted with the sun. I'm here in Texas. It's very hot. And, you know, the sun beats down on our skin for months and that causes some damage, right? And so if you live in a warmer climate, coming into the fall, you're probably going to be looking at things like maybe some pigmentation that you dealt with over the summer. Maybe some of you have dealt with sunburns or a little bit of sun damage. And so if you have melasma, this can also be exacerbated through the summer. And so just something to keep in mind as you're moving into the fall, I want you to think about how might this shift in the climate affect your skin as things are, and what are some things that you can do in your skincare routine at home to make sure that you're able to pivot and get some different results. In the summertime, we're not able to do as many aggressive peels and things like that, right? Because we don't want to expose the skin in the midst of all the heat and sunlight. Fall is a great time to dive into those more aggressive forms of exfoliation and brightening and things like that. So I'm going to touch on all of that and give you 7 steps, or not really steps, but 7 tips that you can use. And hopefully this will be helpful to you. So before we dive into the first tip, I want to ask you to do a quick self-assessment. Okay, so you want to look at your current lifestyle, look at your skin, and think about what is working for you, what's going very well. You know, is your skin very moist already? So you're not dealing with dryness, you're not dealing with pigmentation, but maybe you have a little bit of texture issues, right? Maybe when you rub your skin, it's a little bit grainy because your pores are a bit clogged. So things like that. So think about what's currently working and what's not. Skincare is a lot of fun. Sometimes we like to just dive right in and start using products, but I think it's important to just take that break and see what's actually going well so that you don't overdo it. Okay, so how does your skin look and feel right now? And if you see me looking to the side, I've got some notes to make sure I stay on track. And instead of thinking of all the things you could do for fall, I want you to focus on what is one thing that you would like to achieve. Just one skincare goal. So maybe one thing you'd like to target or one thing you'd like to achieve with your fall skincare routine. This is going to set you up for success so that you can design a skincare routine that focuses on that one result, and you'll have a lot more chances of actually getting some pretty good results with that. So for instance, if you're dealing with rough or clogged pores, maybe you want to work on exfoliating, right? If you're dealing with dry skin, you might want to start bringing in some hydration, especially as the weather begins to cool down. If you are dealing with dark spots and pigmentation, maybe you want to focus on brightening. If you are irritated and inflamed, if you have some cystic acne or acne breakouts, maybe we want to start to calm and soothe the skin. And, you know, we can get to all the other things later, but for now, maybe just calming and soothing might be your primary goal. Or maybe you're sensitized, you might have some fine lines, wrinkles, so you might be focused on, well, let me do some repair. So those are just 5 kind of goals to play around with based on where you are in your skincare journey, something to think about. So without further ado, let's jump into the very first tip for fall skincare. Number 1, you want to make sure that you choose a really good cleanser. Now, there are 3 primary types of cleansers. You have gel cleansers, you have cream cleansers, and then you have clay cleansers. So this is going to depend on your skin type. Are you more oily? Are you dealing with some clogged pores? Maybe a clay cleanser might be good for you. Or maybe a gel cleanser, a foaming gel cleanser. It just really depends. But if you have dry skin or you're more sensitive, a gel cleanser might be a little bit too drying for you. So maybe something like a cream cleanser. You see, so you want to make sure that you think about what skincare concern you are, or you have, what skin type you have, what your main skincare concern is, and then how a cleanser might complement that. And of course, cleansers come with all sorts of wonderful things. In the fall, we're oftentimes shedding off those dead layers of skin. So if you can get a cleanser that maybe has, if you're dealing with, let's say, some pigmentation or some fine lines, maybe a cleanser that has a little bit of glycolic or salicylic acid or lactic acid. These things can be really, really helpful. So make sure that you take a look at your cleanser. Start with the right cleanser. It's so important. I see a lot of clients that come in and they think they have dry skin. They think their skin type is dry. And after a skin analysis and asking them some questions, I realized that it's not so much that they have dry skin sometimes. Sometimes it's we're using a product that is drying us out, and so it appears to be dry, even if you see maybe some flaking. So it's very important that your cleanser is working in harmony with your skin type and your skincare goals. The next tip I have for you is to exfoliate effectively. A lot of us exfoliate throughout the summer, and it can get crazy with all the TikTok trends out there, all the different peels and masks and scrubs. But this can be very damaging to our skin barrier if it's not done with tact, and if we're not rehydrating, replenishing, protecting, and moisturizing, and doing all those things kind of together as a unit. So that's why I say you want to exfoliate effectively. This is the best season, fall and winter, to really get into your exfoliation. And so there's two types of exfoliants. You have your physical exfoliants, which would be like a spin brush or a scrub. And beware the scrubs out there. Some scrubs are so aggressive, they might not feel like it in the moment, but if you're feeling red and irritated at the end, that's a sign that maybe that scrub might be a little too aggressive. So be careful with those. Another form of physical scrub would be something like microdermabrasion, okay? And then you have your chemical scrubs, which would be like your enzymes. I love enzymes because they're actually very effective at exfoliating, brightening the skin, and they're a lot more gentle. You also have your chemical peels, alpha hydroxy acids, things like glycolic acid, lactic acid, salicylic acid, malic acid. And so as you're flipping your products over to look at the labels, you'll see these things pop up. And so those are two forms of exfoliation, your physical and your chemical. So there are exfoliators that you only want to use maybe once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, once a month. There are also exfoliators that you can use literally every day because they're so gentle that they're able to gently exfoliate and buff off that top layer of, dead skin cells and break that stuff up without really going into aggressively. And so again, this depends on your products. One of the products I really like to use in the spa, I have two of them actually, they're Dermalogica products. One is the Daily Microfoliant. The other one is the Daily Super Foliant. I actually use the Daily Super Foliant on myself just about every night. And it's wonderful. It has lactic acid, a little bit of niacinamide. Either way, this is something that I can literally use every single day, and I can still do my weekly more aggressive exfoliation. And so this is something that, of course, I have built my skin up to be resilient enough to handle over time. So keep that in mind. Not everything you see on the internet is true. Not everything that you see on these, social media trends are effective. We have to be really careful, but this is a great season if exfoliation is something that you feel you need. I think everyone needs exfoliation. But if you want to get into peels and things like that, definitely seeing an esthetician and getting guidance with that is something I highly recommend. Okay, so that was the first two tips. Making sure you're choosing the right cleanser, making sure that you are exfoliating effectively. Tip number 3, I keep saying step, is to choose the right moisturizer. I speak to so many clients that they're cleansing every day and that's it. We have to make sure that we are moisturizing because the skin, if you think about it, it's our largest organ and it is a huge part of your immune system. If nothing else, it's like this layer between you and the world. And so therefore it's a barrier. And for that barrier to be intact, we have to make sure that our skin is moisturized, which deals with oil content, and hydrated, which deals with water content. So if we're not using a moisturizer after we've stripped away everything with our cleanser, then we leave our skin vulnerable to micro tears and cracks, to bacteria. This can actually cause more oil production. So a lot of times we feel like, oh, I have oily skin. Maybe not. It could be that we are stripping too much moisture with our cleanser per se, or our exfoliator, and not moisturizing. So making sure you choose a good moisturizer. And this is also dependent upon your skin type. Are you, more oily? Maybe you want to choose a water-based moisturizer. If you are more on the dry side, choosing like a heavier cream-based, an oil-based moisturizer. These are really going to help you to, like I said, reinforce your skin barrier, which is huge. If your skin is compromised, if there are micro tears and cracks, you're going to have problems with breakouts, with, things like broken capillaries. It can lead to a bunch of different problems that may look like one thing, and really it's because that barrier has been compromised. So if nothing else I say sticks, make sure that you understand that barrier protection, barrier being your skin, keeping that barrier intact is the primary goal of any skincare routine. So your moisturizer is very, very important. If you do nothing else but cleanse and moisturize every day, that will still take you a lot farther than having nothing at all. So as we move into the fall, if you've been using a lighter moisturizer over the summer because it was hot, you might need something a little bit heavier as the temperature drops, as the moisture level in the air around you drops. So just keep that in mind. This is a very personal journey. So we have to be mindful of how our skin is responding to the environment. You might keep the same moisturizer and maybe it works fine for you. I know for me, the moisturizer that I use in the winter and the fall does not work very well for me in the summer, and vice versa. So if I use something that's too oily or too heavy in the summer, it just makes my face feel very cakey and very greasy, whereas in the fall it's perfect, right? So keep that in mind. So that's the third tip. Choose the right moisturizer. Tip number 4 is to rotate your serums. Okay, so and if you're not using any serums at all, maybe bring one in. Serums are very concentrated little formulations of ingredients that can target a specific solution. I really like them because you can pick a serum that is just very simple, for instance, like a vitamin A serum that targets one specific result rather than having, a ton of other ingredients. So here's just a few quick ones. If you're not using anything at all, I think hyaluronic acid serum is wonderful for everyone. Hyaluronic acid is already in your skin naturally, but when you apply it topically, it helps your skin to really hold water. It can hold up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. So this is something that's really going to help your skin to stay moist and supple. So a hyaluronic acid serum is wonderful if you are dealing with dry skin, or if you're not dealing with dry skin but coming into these colder, drier temperatures. Bringing in that hyaluronic acid serum is going to be wonderful. You can even use that in the day and the night, so twice a day. If you're going to be exfoliating and repairing, you might be looking at something like your retinoids, your vitamin A derivatives. And so these are going to help with cell turnover and cell repair. We have a lot of cell damage that can occur over the summer with the sunlight, and you might not notice it right away. And also, if you're dealing with a lot of clogged pores and acne, bringing in those retinoids can help those cells turn over faster, so you're sloughing off those dead skin cells, and they're not adding this buildup that leads to other breakouts. Of course, you have to be really careful with your retinoids and making sure that you're using sunscreen, even if it's cloudy and cold outside, because they do make you a little more sensitive to sunlight, and they can sensitize the skin a little bit. Also, if you're looking at like brightening the skin, bringing in a serum like vitamin C is wonderful. That is another universal one that I think everyone can benefit from. I personally like to use my vitamin C and my hyaluronic acid in the mornings. Vitamin C has worked wonders in brightening up my skin. I had a lot of pigmentation from little acne that had healed up but left little dark marks all around my face last year around November, and I've been using vitamin C since then, and it's literally like night and day, made a difference for me. So vitamin C is wonderful. It's an antioxidant, so it also helps with protecting your skin against the damage that comes from UV radiation from the sun. Also environmental pollutants. We are walking around in a sea of pollution every day, so vitamin C is huge. And if you are just trying to work on protection alone, vitamin C, vitamin E, a serum like that is wonderful. So I'm just sharing these with you so you don't have to go crazy. I know there are serums out there that have multiple ingredients in them. I definitely think that's maybe for if you're a little more advanced in your skincare journey and you understand that product and how it fits into your routine, hey, go for it. But if you're just looking to keep things simple, which I always recommend, simple for me has been the best. My skin is not overwhelmed and I'm able to get results, and I can tell exactly which product is doing what, so I know what's working and what's not. So these simple serums like your retinoids, your vitamin C, your hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, things like that are really going to help you, especially depending on what your skincare goal is and what you're targeting, right? So that was number 4, rotate your serums. And if you've been using a serum over the summer, maybe something like a salicylic acid or a mandelic or something like that, you might want to rotate things out for the fall. You don't have to use the same thing all year round. You have to be really mindful of where you are in your skincare journey, what's working, and what you might want to change. Sometimes you can test things out for a week or two and see how it works for you, and go from there. So tip number 5 is to make sure that you are wearing sunscreen daily. I know I've said this a few times, but it's because it's very important. And here's why. Number 1, you're protecting your skin from the sun. Regardless of your skin tone, it doesn't matter what skin tone you are, everyone needs protection from the sun. And also, if you are dealing with any type of pigmentation, if you've noticed a little more fine lines, wrinkles over the summer, age spots, and you're trying to repair those, and you're not wearing sunscreen, you're going to be just, investing in all these products, doing all these things, and you're not going to be able to maintain your results. So use the fall and winter to really go in, target, repair those things, and achieve your skincare goals. And the sunscreen is going to make sure that your skin is protected so that you can keep those results and be set to go by the time we hit spring and summer next year. So it's really about protection, but also maintaining your results. Very important, especially if you are fading dark spots. If you have dark spots that you're trying to fade and you're going out in the sun, you're just darkening those dark spots all over again, and they're going to linger for months and months and months. So if you're wondering, why is it so hard to fade these little spots? Sunscreen. Make sure you're wearing sunscreen. There's physical sunscreen, which is also called mineral sunscreen, and there is chemical sunscreen. I personally, as a person of color, like physical sunscreen. And you also want to make sure you're doing SPF 30 or higher. Anywhere between 30 and 50 is fine. Physical sunscreen is usually zinc-based, and it really puts a barrier of protection over the skin so that the sunlight is kind of scattered and reflected rather than penetrating. The the chemical sunscreens usually penetrate the skin, and they tend to bring the sun's light into the skin and then dissipate it from there. But this heat that it brings into the skin can actually darken pigmentation. So especially if you're fading dark spots, make sure you're using like a mineral zinc-based sunscreen every single day. Okay, and so that brings us to tip number 6, which is making sure that you cultivate healthy lifestyle habits. I know this one's a no-brainer, but here at the autumn equinox, this is about balance, right? So you want to look at what's in balance and what's out of balance. Where are some things that we need to maybe make some adjustments so that we are supporting our overall health, because skincare is not just about how we look on the outside. Your skin is, like I said, the largest organ of your body. This is a whole system. This is about holistic self-care. So skincare is a holistic practice. And so we have to make sure we're also taking that inside-out approach so that we can look and feel our best. So, assessing your daily lifestyle, what's working, what might need an adjustment. Are you drinking coffee or consuming a lot of caffeine, alcohol? Things like this can really dry our skin out. So then you end up needing to drink twice or 3 times as much water to counterbalance those. Especially if you're dealing with like dark circles under the eyes, things like that. Just keep that in mind. Smoking is another one. And I'm specifically talking about smoking cigarettes. Smoking can really dry the skin out. It can lead to broken capillaries. Sometimes you can't even see them, but if you look really close, you'll see little capillaries all over the place, you know? So just something to think about. Water consumption. How much water are you drinking every day? If you don't know how much water you should be drinking, the easiest method is to just take your body weight and divide it by 2. That gives you the number of ounces you should be drinking every single day. Of course, if you're drinking caffeine and stuff like that and having some wine here and there, you want to throw in another glass or 2 to balance that out. Fresh fruit, super greens. And by super greens, I mean your kale, your collards, your chard. How much of this stuff are you bringing into your diet so that you can be nourished with nutrients that are going to feed and support your skin? And also moving your body. You know, are you getting out there exercising, taking a walk every day, doing some yoga or whatever your thing is, dancing? Moving your body is important for skincare because it supports your lymphatic system. This is going to help you to flush out toxins. It also helps with healthy circulation so that you're able to bring those nutrients from all those delicious fresh fruits and super greens you've eaten to the skin, right? So we need healthy circulation and we need to be able to remove waste effectively through our lymphatic system. Moving your body definitely helps with that. And also sleep, okay? Sleep is huge when it comes to your ability to regenerate. A lot of the tips that I mentioned earlier when it comes to the reparative type stuff that you're doing. So if you're using something like a niacinamide serum to get rid of dark spots and pigmentation, this is something you're going to add more to your nighttime routine, right? Why? Because when you go to sleep, that's when your body goes into repair mode. So it's going to take all those building blocks and start working on things. And so making sure you're getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very important to give your body enough time to rejuvenate itself. We are very mysteriously and well-built, amazing machines. The body can do wonders if you give it what it needs. So stay well, eat well, stay hydrated, get enough sleep. This will also keep your stress levels down, and all of this helps with healthy skin. And that brings me to the 7th and final tip, which is book a facial with your esthetician. All of this information is good, great, but there's nothing like going in to see your esthetician. And here's why. When you come in for a facial, we are going to sit down with you, do a full consultation, and get to know about not just your skin, your skincare concerns, but your lifestyle, so that we can make sure that we partner with you in helping you to identify and achieve your primary skincare goal. And so when you come in for a facial with me, for instance, for a Pro 60 facial, we do the consultation. You get a full skin analysis. This is when I go under magnification and take a close look at your pores and see exactly what's going on, right? You're going to get that deep cleanse. We do a double cleanse, a deep pore cleanse, and exfoliation. For the hour-long facial, we also add in a massage. Sometimes I do gua sha or Hungarian or European massage or some acupressure. It just depends on your consultation and what I feel is best for that day. We also do a deep treatment to target your primary concern. So usually this is a mask. And we finish off with deep hydration therapy so that you walk out very hydrated, ready to go. And I forgot to mention something. Oh, extractions. If you need extractions, so if you've got some stubborn blackheads that you don't want to keep picking at, which is great. You don't want to pick at your blackheads. We can extract those for you. And so this is all part of the Pro 60 facial. That's just to give you an example. I know every esthetician has their own way of doing things, but that's the basic layout of a facial and what you can expect when you come in. And the best part of this all is that you're going to leave with a customized treatment plan that you can take home and implement so that you maintain those results. Because we can do a lot when you come in for a facial, but if you're not maintaining it at home, then there goes all of that great work you put in over the next 2 or 3 days, your skin's going to go right back to wherever you left off. So we'll help you to take home a plan to maintain your results. And so you want to make sure that you're adding in an esthetician to your holistic self-care plan. We are absolutely an essential part of that. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Of course, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can come see me. Right now, I'm at the Salon Professional Academy for a few more months. I'll be graduating soon. And click the link in my bio or in the description of this video so that you can stay connected with me. And I would like if you save this video, actually, because I think this is a great resource. You can refer back to it later. So make sure you save this and leave a comment below. I want to know from you, what is your primary skincare concern when it comes to the fall or winter? You can include that too. So think about last fall, last winter. What's the one thing that pops up for you, or right now? So let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. I definitely will respond to every single comment. Again, thanks for joining me on this video. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I will see you on the next one. Happy autumn equinox.